Thought I'd come on here and just chat. I'm not anything particular to talk about. Do I look fuzzy to y'all? Doesn't look right. Looks like I've got, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I need to clean my screen. Once again, I need addresses for Carla, Aiden, and Shelly if Shelly ever comes on here again. And that is Aiden Darling. Just saying. I was going to go in there and do some work. I actually have a lot of things to do this morning, actually. And I tried to sleep so I could get up and get all my crap done, and I am just a night person. I can't sleep at night, evidently. So I got back up, came in here, and thought, well, I'll see what everybody's doing. I do have something exciting in the works. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm trying something. In fact, I started it tonight, and I want to see if it works. We'll see. I'll let y'all know. I'm kind of doing an experiment, I guess you could say. But I do have a few questions that were emailed to me that I guess I could answer. I come on here so late that most people aren't up. We're right down my throat. So, if I can find my paper, I didn't plan on doing it right now, so I have them written down somewhere. Nope. Well, I do remember one of them because it's kind of important this time of year, and I'm sure that's why it was asked. I was asked if you're a witch and you celebrate Christmas with your family, is that going against your path? No. Witches do all kinds of things. I mean, we have our own certain path, yes, but we don't choose for everybody else what to do and what not to do. And of course, if it's your family, your children, yes, you need to be sharing that with them. I mean, you think back at Christmas time, when you were little, you don't even really know what it's about, except the fact that you get presents, you know. You may have heard the story, the Christian story about Bethlehem and Jesus in the manger and all that, but you don't really understand it until you get up, to a certain age. But the little kids, it's just not, I guess that'd be up to the parent, because there are some households that are strictly pagan that absolutely raise their children that way. Um, instead of having, they may have a Christmas tree, but have different things on it, or just a Yule log, or they may not celebrate per se Christmas at all. That holiday, they may call it something else, or I don't know. Now, when my kids were growing up, uh, you know, everybody on both sides of my family, that I know of are not witches. So it wouldn't have been fair to them, to not have it at my house, but then they go to their grandparents or aunt and uncles or their cousins, and they have trees and all that stuff. I pretty much just did the usual thing with them. And then as they got older, where they could understand, then I told them what I did and all that. I mean, you can have both. If your spouse doesn't care, I mean, this is where when you have a spouse and you're a witch, either you need one that understands your path, or at least um, won't condemn you for it, of course, or try to change you, but it may come as a conflict when it comes to teaching your kids what's what as far as holidays and stuff like that. So it would just that, honestly, if you're planning on marrying someone outside of the path, then this all needs to be discussed beforehand. If you're serious about your path and you cannot be swayed from it, then it would behoove you to talk to them about it. So everything's out in the open before you head down that aisle. And you get kids involved, and then feelings get hurt, and it just gets worse from there. Now, I know that some, and I use the man a lot, and because most and generally it's the females that are witches. Yes, there are male witches, but most and generally it's a female type thing for other reasons than you would think, just the way it's come down through history. But you know, one of the parties, whether it be the male or female, may say, "Yeah, everything will be okay. I accept you for what you are," and then a couple of years in the marriage, decide no, they're not going to do that, or they have an epiphany and they decide they want to be Christian and want the whole family to do so, which very severely interferes with your path. But sometimes that happens and sometimes it don't. I mean, it is definitely hard to have two separate religions in the same household. Um, and when it comes to teaching your children, each individual, you know, will have different opinions, each parent. Most and generally, this is where you can, once the kids get old enough, you can explain to them what's what, you know, let them experience maybe going to different churches, see which one suits them, if Christianity is the path they pick. And if they're more curious about what you do, the pagan way or even the witch way, then teach them about it. So they're well rounded in knowledge about it all. And then they have the ammo to make and the information to make their own decision. Because even if you raise them pagan, even if it is a solid pagan household and they're raised that way, they're still going to be curious as they get older. I mean, we all know, part of growing up is experimenting and learning. So that would seriously be something that you and your, it's pretty important stuff. A lot easier to deal with than when you have children getting involved. That, even though I'm a witch, my entire family are Christian. Um, on my dad's side, I mean, but, or that I know of. I don't know. One time when she was extremely young, I mean, right after she had me, and it's a really touchy subject, and in families, it's you know, and honestly, I that's why a lot of women were solitaire. It wasn't necessarily to do their own thing and not be judged for it, and not have to go through the hassle and the fight. You know, I'm sure back then there were a lot of male witches, if there were any at all. I mean, yeah, there were some accused during the trials, but um, I just don't know. So that may be how come a lot of these women, stay to themselves for, one of many reasons that they were by themselves. I don't know. Some of them probably never even had children. Of course, back then you had to be married to do so. But I don't know. That's a touchy subject, and or you got married, and he doesn't know that she's a witch. Secret for all her life, and to me, that is just a recognized religion. It'd be hard to put a Catholic and a Baptist together. It's just a little bit. They believe different. You know, the devil. And then, I honestly think that sometimes they don't need to know until they're up there. And then you have to make sure that the child is ready for it. Because like I said, there is mental illness, and it seems that a lot of our teenagers nowadays, even more so, have issues. They have a lot more mental issues. Maybe not, I can't say as there used to be, because maybe there were as many. They just weren't ever documented, or, it just kind of developed into something else. I don't know. But, um, you know, you've got these teenagers running around out there that think, oh, I'm going to serve the devil, and the devil's my Lord, and blah, blah, blah. Well, and all they do is run around because how do I put this? They connect that devil with doing bad things. So what do? They go out and kill their neighbors' animals and sacrifice them and have these fake uh, um, what do you call them? I went blank. See, I'll do that. Uh, Sacrifices and these fake rituals. To me, and I say fake because probably none of them really know the words that they're saying, or how to say them, or what they're saying, or honestly what the consequences of doing that ritual could ensue. Um, they're just pretty much walking around thinking they're a badass. And they're just young kids that have no idea what they're getting into. And I honestly could see some of the demons sitting back just laughing at them. And then some of the lower demons going, huh, good targets. Those are good targets, you know. So I encourage, people not to be that way. That is not what the path is about. Even the left-hand path is not that way. I mean, I'm not on the left-hand path. I do work with certain demons, but I'm not necessarily on that path, what I would consider on that path. I do pretty much of a lot of different things. Um, as I've always said, I I do all kinds of stuff. I don't I don't like having to categorize myself. I don't like having to because I work with Lucifer that I'm necessarily a Luciferian because I'm not. You know, I just don't. And like I said before, until I came on YouTube, I never even knew that witches stereotype themselves. You know, and that got me to thinking. I was like, I've never thought about that. I guess nobody's ever asked me what kind of witch are you until I got on here or got on the platforms on Facebook, with the uh, all the other witches. I'm like, what do you mean? What kind of witch am I? I'm a witch that casts spells. I'm an individual that moves energy around to make things happen. I use all of it. I can't necessarily say that I'm a hedge witch or a black witch, a white witch, gray witch, eclectic. I mean, there's so many names because I truly am. I don't know of any of it that I don't do at one point or another, except for grow my own plant. So I guess I wouldn't be called a hedge witch, if that's what a hedge witch means. I think that's what it means. But I mean, not that I wouldn't, but I've explained that. I have too many cats. They'd be eating my plants. I know they would. Um, but as far as everything else, I can't really think of much that I haven't done or still don't do at one point or another, depending on what spell I'm doing. Uh, I've even done a little bit of voodoo and hoodoo. Uh, I'm not getting into that. I already know what some people might be saying. Well, you're not black. You're not of African descent, and why are you practicing voodoo or hoodoo? Well, I'm not getting into that because my answer to that, like it is with everything, I am a witch. I can do anything I please, and that's all I'm going to say about it. No arguing. I don't care. You know, um, that's like Strega. I mean, those are just pretty much just Italian witches. It doesn't mean that somebody in the United States that wants to learn those ways can't practice Strega. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I don't know. If it was my way of doing things, I'd be honored when somebody wanted to do them the same way instead of copping an attitude like, no, it's mine, you're not welcome. Well, first of all, that's not what witches are supposed to do. We pretty much preach way far against that. We don't tell people what they can and can't do. That's not our jobs. Um, so whatever you want to do, whichever form of witchcraft you want to do, go for it. It may not work for you. It may not resonate with you, set right with you. If it doesn't, find the path you want to be on, search until you find it. If you want to keep quiet about what you do, that's fine too. I personally think it's a waste. I mean, I'm proud of what I do. You know, I'm proud of who I am. And not saying that y'all aren't. I do understand that there's a lot of other things that complicate the situation. I just wish it could be different for you because I don't feel like you can feel as free, and that's what this craft is about, the freedom it gives you. It's kind of derogatory when you have to be in the closet with it, because that's not where it was meant to be. But everybody's got their own choices to make. So, I mean, to each their own, whatever you want to do. But I hope that answered that one question. And I'm trying to figure out what the other ones were. I can't find my paper. Oh, I got to get organized. I have a lot of things to do tomorrow, you guys. I really do. Well, a couple of them anyway. And I told y'all about that. I did something earlier that, which is actually something I don't normally do. In fact, I'm pretty much, wouldn't say against it, but in a way, I kind of am. I don't know how to explain it, and if I do, then I'll give it away. But I really have to keep quiet about it. But I will let you know. And it may take, this kind of thing sometimes takes all the way up to 6 months. So I don't know. I don't know how it'll work out, but I'm pretty excited to see. But anyway, oh, I wish I could find that, you guys. I really do. In fact, I was sitting here making up a spring oil, an oil to use in the springtime for Hecate when she reemerges from the underworld. But I'm not going to give that away yet until I have it finished. So there are some things I'm working on. I'm just going really slow. Man, I got so many things written down here. Have other recipes from other witches. Oh, two, when I also had a question about Hecate, when you're evoking her, if you're just calling on her, like say you just want to say hey or thank you, or you just want to be in her presence, which I do a lot. I'll go in there and light my altar up and I'll call on her. And a lot of times it's just because I like sitting there with her. I like her in the same room with me. I don't ask for anything. I may say thank you for this or that. And, I usually just say, hello, mother. I just wanted to sit with you for a while. To me, that's soothing. It's relaxing. And I feel good sitting there with her. So that's what I do. And I guarantee you, if any of her daughters do this, I mean, don't do it. You should. I mean, every time you go to that altar, it doesn't have to be to give her something or to ask for something. Or, during spell casting, you can just go and meditate at the altar, not say a word except for mother, I want to be in your presence, which I find myself doing a lot. And I guarantee you when you're depressed, or not necessarily full-blown depressed, but you're not feeling very good about things, then go sit with her and try and clear your mind. You don't necessarily even have to meditate. It's just like clearing your mind. I envision her giving me a hug or just sitting there with her arm around me. It may sound crazy to other people, but hey, It works for me. You know, I don't feel alone. I don't feel um, like I'm on the wrong path. I mean, I just, without any words, I feel reassured that everything's going to be okay, you know? Because a lot of times as human beings, we overthink things. You know, we put too much thought into it. Now, granted, at times it's needed, but it's usually just about what all we want, and we get caught up in the rat race, and we become nervous wrecks. Even if you're not a witch, you know, this happens. But as witches, we're fortunate enough to have our goddesses that we turn to in our spells, and we know tricks, you know, tricks of the trade on how to relieve or completely get rid of stress and anxiety and that poor concept you may be developing within yourself. Doubt. Doubt is a huge problem with witches. I've experienced it. And I've been a witch for a long time, and there's still times I experience it. You know, you think, why am I doing this? You know, you feel pretty dumb sitting at that altar sometimes, talking to a wall or a statue with herbs going in front of you, you know. But eventually you get reassured, don't you? You come back because that's where you're supposed to be. So I thoroughly enjoy just going in there and sitting. Sometimes I'll just sit there and not say a word, well, you know, with just my candles going in my room. And that may be, you may be able to consider that a form of meditation, even. Meditation to me is anything that quiets your mind for a while. Um, you know how even when you're not trying to, your mind's going 1,000 miles an hour. This and that's going to happen, and I got to do this and that tomorrow, and you know the daily rat race. So sometimes it's all right, you know, it's physically, scientifically impossible to completely stop your brain from thinking. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it quietens down. You can choose one thing to focus on, and that's silence. And you have to really work on it because your brain's an extremely powerful organ, as we all know. I mean, it kind of takes off in its own direction a lot, but that's the way it's designed. It's a very smart piece of equipment. Um, but yeah, try that. Try going in there and just sitting, you know, sit there with the candles going in your incense and close your eyes and I guess in a way meditate. Well, I mean, I know most people when they think of meditating, they'll think of you sitting there with your legs crossed on the floor on your butt, Indian style, you know, going home, home. And there are frequencies that calm your mind. I do understand why they do that. Um, it kind of puts you on an even plane, and music relaxes most people. It does me. You know, sometimes I'll lay in there in bed and I have music on my computer that I listen to, you know, and it kind of takes me to a different place, should I say, away from the humdrum and the bullshit of the reality of where I'm at. But you don't always have to, you know, be throwing a spell at her to help you with. And it is nice to give her stuff. I know that I've experienced this. I felt there was a lot of times I wouldn't go to her altar because I hadn't given her anything in a while, some sort of offering, and I felt bad. I felt useless as a witch and as her daughter. It's like, gosh, I can't even, afford to go get her a bouquet of flowers or anything. And then I had to stop myself and go, that's not what it's about. You have to keep reminding yourself, yes, we want to put these things on her altar and give them to her because we love her, we cherish her, we appreciate her for all the things she does for us. But it's good enough for her just for you to walk up to her and say, thank you. I know you're there, she knows. I mean, she's not the mother for no reason, she's pretty smart. But yeah, so you don't have to, like I've told all the new ones, you don't have to go and buy a million things to put on her altar. When you can, or you can go out when it's nice outside and pick her some flowers. It don't cost you anything but maybe a little bit of gas if you have to drive a ways, to the country or somewhere out where they're growing wild. I've done that. I've stopped and picked sunflowers for her. To me, that's more of an offering than going to a store and just buying it, because more thought goes into it. It's more action into it than just running in the store, grabbing a bouquet of flowers and setting them on her altar. It's more about going out there and you pick each one. And the whole time you're doing this, you're actually unknowingly putting intent in them flowers. The intent is it is an offering to your goddess, you know. I don't know. So I mean, it's your craft, do what you want with it, but and I will ask something. I've had now, and I'm not saying that these people are not serious because they probably are. And I don't take it to where they're being uh, petty or messing with my head or whatever. Because some people honestly are curious about the paranormal. Um, there's all kinds of uh, paranormal I enjoy watching them. Um, but I guess they think that, well, the witches will know. Okay, now, first of all, I've said this, I don't know how many times. Most witches, of course, we believe in the paranormal. What do you think All Souls Night is about? All Hallows Eve. You know, um, that is our holiday. That is our most exciting, or I should say, my most exciting time of the year. I just love it. But as far as telling you that, yeah, they do exist, and I can tell you my experiences, and that's it. Belief in spirits, then that's totally up to you. But and I'm not saying that there aren't some of these shows that's what they are shows. That there are some of them that are extremely believable. I mean, they couldn't possibly be making this up or staging it. Um, the best thing I know what to tell you to do is go on one yourself. You know, um, witches were communicating with the dead long before a spirit box came out. I mean, I know these spirit boxes are now the fad, and the apps that you can get on your phones. There was a time that I didn't believe in them at all. I just thought they were radio waves that came through, and a spirit could pick up on it or speak through it. And then there's times some of them may just be coincidence. But because I believe in divination a different way, it doesn't mean that's not really what's going on. It's just a new thing for me, and I'm an old witch is all. So, I mean, when you see things actually moving and all that, of course, that the logical side of your brain is going, how are they doing that? That's, and there is a lot of contraptions you can buy and put on your cameras and editing that you can do to make something look, certain ways. But when you've seen it flat out yourself with your own two eyes, no equipment going, no other witnesses, but you yourself have seen it, that's when you will definitely have no doubt in your mind. Yes, I believe that they're all around us. Not only at Samhain. Samhain just is the time that the veil is very thin, and they can actually walk among you. They dwell on this earth again for X amount of time. It doesn't mean that they don't come in between the veil. There's holes in the veil. This is how I look at it. Some of them are more practiced at getting through it. I don't know. You can come up with your own opinion on that, because everybody's going to anyway. I'm not at all saying they don't exist, because I believe they do. So I'm really tired of answering that question. I think I have already mentioned it twice on 2 other videos. So just watch my other videos or form your own opinion, because I can sit here all day long and tell you that yes, they exist, but that's my belief, and it's not going to sway you one way or the other. Just like, well, for instance, if you just refuse to believe in the paranormal, why believe in a witch per se, or believe that I'm a witch enough to ask me those questions? You believe witches exist, witches move, energies around. So why wouldn't you believe that spirits can walk on the earth again, and just in different form? So I don't know. That's totally up to you. But there was one more, and I honestly cannot think of it. I've been trying. That's why I've been just sitting on here for a little bit. It was a good question too. Of course, all questions are good questions. I'm just, I some of them I remember better than others, but I can't think of it. I'll find it and do another video on it then. But yeah, that's gonna bug me till I find it. I'm done with it. I'm really usually way more organized. That's what gets me. Anyway, I'm not going to sit here and look for it right now, because it'll appear when I'm least expecting it. Maybe it just wasn't the time to do it. But anyway, I guess I'll go. If I've got to run in there and do something in my room right quick, in my altar room. But I'm going to do some divination, and there's really, honestly, something I want to discuss with y'all. It's kind of an odd subject, and I would say controversial, but everything on our path seems to be controversial. So that doesn't mean anything. But I'll consult Hecate about it, and if she thinks it would be okay to do a video on it, then I will. If not, then I won't. Okay. All right. Well, I wish some of y'all could have heard you chatted with me. I like chatting with you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.